And you're listening to ExtremeChristianRadio.com. What's up, Micah? Where are you coming from, man?
From Rochester, man. So about 2 hours north of here. But yeah, it was a nice drive down. Anyways, it's a good time of the year to be driving in New York.
Yeah, I heard it can get cool about this time, but I'm not real too sure. I came from Houston, Texas, which is kind of hot right now, high 86 right now. But we heard your music. We love it. You're on the top number one on our top requested hit music. What do you think about that?
It's pretty awesome, especially because when I look through the playlists and stuff, I see, the top, like you were saying, we were talking about earlier, Chris Tomlin, all that stuff. So to be having requested, that's pretty cool. Not expecting to see that, I guess. This early in the game, we've been going at this for a little while, but really, as far as for me and Mark together on this, it's only been about 6 months, so it's cool, to be getting requested on a radio station. That's nice.
Now, y'all guys have to remind me later on to send you down to Texas, because I have friends down in Texas that owns a radio station, NGNradio.com, and they play the similar, but it's more of a mixture like what we do, hip-hop also. I'm going to send them to you also as a rep. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, we're basically trying to get anywhere and everywhere that we can. We're releasing this album that we're putting out for free, and so, we want people to be downloading it, stealing it, whatever, So, I mean, Texas, Indonesia, England, anywhere in the States, we don't care. We just want everybody really to be listening to what we're putting out.
And you said it's free, so that's no money, no cents. That's a blessing.
Yeah, man, it was definitely, it was a conscious decision. It wasn't like, it just was out of the blue or whatever. There's so many bands nowadays that they're so good. I mean, I try and look at all the bands, that are out putting out really awesome metal right now. And we got people putting out singles, they're putting out music videos, all this different stuff, and it's totally for free. And so we kind of wanted to hop on that bandwagon. Just, it's a lot to pay $10, and then you put the CD in the CD player and you hate it. So we want real fans. We want people that, like what we're doing just because they really love our music. And so, yeah, we thought it was a good thing to do, put it out for free. It's been expensive, but, that's worth it for us.
Yes, and God is going to bless y'all when her vote back in return for offering the fans of this divided world, free music. It's totally, completely free. We got it. Y'all heard it. Go get it. Where they can find the music at?
Well, it'll be probably another 2 weeks or so. We haven't set a release date yet. We just got a few bids out for people doing a mastering job for us. So, to take something that sounds pretty good and make it sound really good. But so here, we're trying to catch it before the end of September, put it out. And if they go to facebook.com/thisdividedworld, we'll have information there. We're going to put it up on a download link. We got a Bandcamp page too. Actually, it's opened up right here. If you go into our About section, and you can click on the Bandcamp, we'll have it in a few different locations. When it's out, people will know it's out. People will be posting about it. You'll find it.
Yeah, they're there on Facebook. You can actually go on our website too at the end of today to get the same information where y'all can find the information. But anyways, let's talk about your music, because we asked a serious question like earlier. How in the world, and I was going to ask this on the air anyways, how in the world y'all can sing like y'all do? Because we have tons of bands that sing like that, and they won't tell us except you. How in the world y'all can do that?
Well, I'm not the vocalist, I'm the guitarist, so I can only give kind of a little bit of an outside perspective. I've done screaming or growling or yelling or whatever people call that in bands in the past, and like I was explaining before, I do it the wrong way. So you get done with an hour practice and you're all tore up and you need that tea and honey. But Mark actually, he can do it. I think he can do it both ways. But he's so good now that it's natural for him to do it the right way. And you can go out and click on a YouTube video and they'll tell you how to do it. But basically, they'll always say, all your diaphragm, lots of breathing, and it's just a lot of messing around, experimenting, and trying to find those sounds. For me, the first way that I knew how to scream is I would just listen to bands that were doing it, and then I would try and do it like a quiet version of it or whatever, and then you just put a little bit more air behind it, and eventually it's going to come out with that big scream. But hey, I'm not an expert at all, man, so I don't know.
I don't know either. It sounds wonderful. It sounds awesome. Like we always say here, it's insane, extreme awesome, man. Yeah. What bands have influenced you to write the music that y'all have done so far?
Well, Mark and I have different influences. Mark's obviously not here for this interview, but we come from different worlds. He's from a young age. He was into like really heavy bands, and I wasn't. I am now. I love heavy music, but I started out before I ever listened to like heavy stuff. I was just doing acoustic, and I would write poems and stuff like that before. So it's kind of been a progression for me getting to where I am. So if I really had to list all my influences, there would be a lot that seem out of character for what we're doing now. But one of the bands that I definitely look up to now is Impending Doom. We got it listed right there on our influences. But you never really know. I don't personally know them. Mark used to have a connection with their vocalist, but I mean, if you go on their Facebook, they got 100,000 or whatever people that have liked their page. So it's a big band, and for me, it's more that they're so open about being a God-fearing band, and that's what I love. I mean, I love them musically. I really appreciate what they do and stuff like that. But the fact that they're at that tier of success and they're still willing to, proclaim that they do it because they love God, and so I really love that about them. That's one of them. I got a million influences, but that's one of them anyways.
Yeah. I mean, also, we love heavy metal around here. When we slow down the music on Sundays to the point we're playing contemporary praise and worships, to that point, who influenced you to serve God like you do in music, in the contemporary praise and worship music? Who do you top number one in influence in that area?
Well, I also play guitar at my church, City Church in Batavia, New York. So I love all that stuff. If you saw my YouTube channel, I got a playlist. It's got I don't know how many, but I listen to normal music. I listen to the same praise and worship that most people do. We listen to the Chris Tomlin stuff, Jesus Culture and Carrie Job, and everything that's out, Hillsong, all that stuff. But I love what Jesus Culture is doing. They come from a pretty outspoken, charismatic kind of that spectrum, I guess you could say. And I feel like they take this fun music, like this kind of dancey music. It makes you want to like have a physical, dance reaction to it, and they make it for God, and so that's cool. I mean, obviously, I love what Chris Tomlin's doing. I mean, I can't sing his stuff because he's like, he's above a tenor or whatever. I don't know what you call him, but Hillsong's just like, I guess Hillsong's ultimate. I've written one worship song ever. So I'm not really like, I don't write worship, but I love, pretty much anything anybody else would say is an influence for that kind of stuff. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm pretty much of that type of a person, but since I enjoyed what we hear on the air so far, I came in love with, the death metal. Yeah. I always call it death metal, DEATH, but it's death metal, but that's DEF. Yeah. Literally. But we're going to take a little short break. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to ask you more questions. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Stick around, everyone.
You heard them. Stick around. Here is more This Divided World, and coming up next after that is Upwards, and we'll be right back after that on ECR.